Los Angeles in 1947 was a city of dreams. Hollywood was at the height of its golden age. Movie stars walked the boulevards. Glamour and ambition filled every street corner. Thousands of young men and women poured into the city every single year, chasing fame and fortune. The sun always seemed to be shining. The future always seemed full of possibility. It was the kind of city that made you believe anything was possible. But beneath that golden surface, Los Angeles had a dark side. A world of shadows and secrets and desperate ambition that the movie studios and the city fathers worked hard to keep hidden. And in January 1947, that dark side exploded into the headlines in the most shocking way imaginable. Her name was Elizabeth Short. She was 22 years old. Born in Boston, Massachusetts, she had moved to California chasing the same dream as so many others. She was strikingly beautiful with dark hair and pale skin and bright eyes that seemed full of life and hope. People who knew her described her as sweet and friendly and full of ambition. She wanted to be an actress. She wanted to be somebody. She had spent time moving between cities, following opportunities that never quite materialized. By January 1947, she was in Los Angeles trying to make something happen. She had no idea that her name would soon be known across the entire world, but not in the way she had ever imagined. On the morning of January 15, 1947, a woman named Betty Bersinger was walking through a residential neighborhood in Leimert Park, Los Angeles, with her young daughter. She noticed something in a vacant lot beside the sidewalk. At first, she thought it was a discarded store mannequin. Then she looked closer. Pause. It was the body of a young woman. But what Betty Bersinger saw that morning was so disturbing, so incomprehensible, that she grabbed her daughter and ran to the nearest phone to call the police. The body had been completely drained of blood. It had been cut cleanly in half at the waist, and it had been carefully and deliberately posed in the grass. Whoever had done this had taken their time, and they wanted the body to be found. Los Angeles police descended on the scene within minutes. Detectives, photographers, and forensic investigators swarmed the vacant lot. The body was identified through fingerprints as Elizabeth Short, a young woman with no criminal record who had simply been trying to make her way in the city. The level of skill shown in the mutilation suggested the killer had medical or surgical knowledge. The body had been completely drained of blood, which meant Elizabeth had been killed somewhere else and then transported to the vacant lot. There was no blood at the scene whatsoever. Whoever had done this was organized, methodical, careful, and completely without remorse. E-Press descended on the story like nothing Los Angeles had ever seen before. Reporters competed furiously for every new detail. It was a journalist at the Los Angeles Examiner who gave Elizabeth Short her infamous nickname, the Black Dahlia, a reference to a popular film noir movie of the time called The Blue Dahlia. The name stuck immediately. Within days, the Black Dahlia murder was front-page news across the entire country. The combination of a beautiful young victim, a brutal and mysterious killer, and the glamorous backdrop of Hollywood made it irresistible to the public. Elizabeth Short had wanted to be famous. She had become famous, but at a cost nobody could have imagined. Then something extraordinary happened. A letter arrived at the Los Angeles Examiner newspaper. It was assembled from cut-out letters and words taken from various newspapers and magazines. It claimed to be from the killer. It included personal items belonging to Elizabeth Short, her birth certificate, her social security card, some photographs, and an address book with a name torn out. The letter taunted police. It promised more information would follow. Investigators were electrified. This was their first real lead, but the letter had been carefully cleaned of any fingerprints or forensic evidence, and the promised follow-up information never came. The killer had made contact, and then vanished, back into the shadows. Over the decades, investigators have looked at hundreds of suspects in the Black Dahlia case. A doctor named George Hodel became one of the most compelling after his own son, a former Los Angeles police detective, became convinced his father was responsible. Hodel had medical knowledge consistent with the mutilation. He had known Elizabeth Short, and a recording made by investigators captured him making deeply suspicious statements. Other suspects included an army surgeon, a hotel manager, and several other men with connections to Elizabeth, but no arrest was ever made. No charges were ever filed. The evidence against every suspect fell just short of what was needed for prosecution. Some investigators believe the Black Dahlia murder was connected to the dark underbelly of Hollywood itself. The world of casting couches and broken promises and desperate young people who would do anything for their shot at stardom. A world where powerful men could make problems disappear, and where the police department had deep connections to the studio system. Some believe the killer was a prominent figure whose identity was known to investigators, but who was protected by his connections and his wealth. Whether this is true or simply the stuff of conspiracy theories, nobody can say for certain. But the culture of secrecy that surrounded Hollywood in that era was very real. Despite being one of the most investigated murder cases in American history, the Black Dahlia case went cold. Leads dried up. Witnesses disappeared. Suspects died. The detectives who had dedicated years of their lives to solving the case retired or passed away, taking their knowledge with them. The Los Angeles Police Department officially kept the case open. New investigators periodically reviewed the evidence with fresh eyes and new technology. DNA testing was conducted on evidence collected at the scene, but every new lead eventually hit the same wall, the same dead end, the same silence. Whoever killed Elizabeth Short was extraordinarily careful and extraordinarily lucky. Elizabeth Short was buried at Mountain View Cemetery in Oakland, California. Her grave is visited by people from around the world to this day. Fresh flowers are left regularly by strangers who never knew her but who feel connected to her story. She was 22 years old. She had dreams and hopes and a whole life ahead of her. She deserved to grow old. She deserved to see her dreams come true. Instead, her name became synonymous with one of the most shocking and heartbreaking unsolved murders in American history, the Black Dahlia. A nickname she never chose, a legacy she never wanted, and a case that has never been closed. Softer, slower, Elizabeth Short was not the Black Dahlia. She was a young woman with a name and a family and a dream. She was somebody's daughter, somebody's friend, somebody who deserved justice. 77 years have passed since that January morning in 1947. And still, no one has been held accountable for what was done to her. If this story moved you, please subscribe, because we tell the stories of the forgotten and the lost every single week. Because every victim deserves to be remembered as a person, not just a headline. Pause. Rest in peace, Elizabeth Short. You were more than a nickname. You were a human being, and we will not forget you.